Hello everybody. Welcome to Creating the Basic Adaptable Game Engine Library, Part 42, Adding Labels to the Game. In the previous videos, we talked about the design considerations that should go into a label class to allow you to customize the look of a label. And then, we actually wrote the code for the label class. In this video, we're going to add a label to our game, Starfish Collector. So, let's begin by opening up our project. So here we are in IntelliJ, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Starfish Collector game as it is. Right now, there's all sorts of fun things happening in this game. There's a turtle who swims around the screen. There's a fish who's just kind of hanging out. I should really make that fish move around. That would be much more interesting. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, what I'd like to do, a couple of things. I'd like to replace the You Win graphic with a label that's invisible at the start of the game and becomes visible later on. Also, I'd like to add maybe some kind of a score counter, which can be used to display how many starfish are left. And so those are going to be the two labels I'd like to add to the game. So, first, let's go ahead and go to the Starfish Collector class. Alright, and the first thing we'll do is we'll create two more labels in this class. Not two more labels, two labels. First, let's call this the Starfish label. And let's make another label called the Win label. Right, and we really want to initialize these last and add them to the group last. That way they'll render on top of all the other objects. And so let's take them one at a time. Let's do the Starfish label first. So let's see. Starfish label is a new label. And let's say I want this to be relatively big. So let's say, let's use an Arial font. So why not? In size 48. And we'll have to test this later on to see how it looks. Starfish label. Let's set the text to say starfish left. And then, well, however many starfish there are on the screen. And so, let's break this down into two lines. The text that we want to display will be starfish left plus however many starfish are in that group. So starfish group dot size. Right, our group classes have a size method which we can use to figure out how many are left in the group. Right, so we'll set that to be the text. Also, I'd like to experiment with the alignment property and show you how that works. So I'd like to maybe press or put the starfish left count maybe in like the bottom right corner of the screen. So let's say starfish dot set position is equal to, see, our screen is 800 by 600 pixels. So I'm going to want to align the right edge of the text to x equals 800. And as for the position, there's really no vertical alignment. Oh, this should be starfish label. I want to be right aligned to that point. So starfish dot set alignment. Well, there's no set alignment. Starfish label dot alignment equals right. Let's see. I guess let's just see how this looks. Oh, but first, we're not going to see anything if we don't add it to the group containing all the sprites. So group.add starfish label. Right, let's go ahead and save this and give this a run. Hopefully we'll see the word starfish left and some number kind of the bottom right corner of our screen. Yep, sure enough, right there it is. It's actually really not bad placement at all. I guess we could shift it down a little bit If I wanted to move it away from that edge, I'll subtract something from the x-coordinate. So subtract from the x, add to the y, and well, maybe I want to change this a little bit. Right, this is kind of a angular font, but everything in this game is kind of rounded, so maybe I will use Comic Sans font. Now let's set this to maybe 780. Let's change this to 570. Again, I'm just kind of guessing here. Let's also change the color of the font. And so let's say Starfish label, let's say Starfish color, or Starfish label font color. That will be color dot yellow. Okay, and let's see how that looks. Compiling, running. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so Comic Sans didn't take. Sometimes, if you enter in the name of a font and it's not an actual font installed on your system, there will be some kind of a fallback to a default font, usually Arial. So let's try that. Let's run again. I should check the names of the fonts installed on my computer. Hey, there we go. That looks pretty good. And I can make it stand out a little bit more, perhaps by adding a border to this. Maybe I'll add an orange border color. It's okay, actually, so it kind of looks like the starfish, right? We could make this yellow, matching the color of the starfish, and then an orange border around the text, just like the starfish themselves have an orange border. Let's change that to also 580. Now let's say starfish label dot set border. Let's make it a thick border. Let's see how that looks. All right, let's give that a run. And then I really do need to move on to some other things. Yeah, I don't know about the orange actually, right? The orange kind of blends in with the sand here. And I might switch that to a black color. More contrast, easier for your player to read. Okay, and I'll assume that's going to be okay. Next, I need to update that every time a starfish is collected. In particular, I need to update the text. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these 2 lines of code and then go into the update method. In update, if the turtle overlaps the starfish, we're going to remove that starfish from the group, but there's one more thing we should do. We should also update the text in our label. So I'm going to take this if statement, and I'm going to add some braces there so I can do multiple things. In particular, actually, the exact same code works really well here. Right? The text should be changed to whatever the new size of starfish group is, right, after that object has been removed, and then we'll change the text on that label. All right, let's give that a run. We'll try playing the game just to make sure that the label changes as we intended. And so right now we've got 20 starfish. Oh, and that number's going down. 2 left. 1 left. I don't fear that shark. Hey, 0 left and you win. Very good. All right. I feel like I need to replace this with a thicker font too. It's kind of hard to read. It's very thin. So let's see. So we added the starfish label. That's cool. Let's also change the you win label. Right, so I want to take this part, the win message, and I'm going to swap that out for this new win label. And so I'm going to go ahead and remove sprite win message. And now all this text is red. I want to change this for win label. And so that's going to be a new label. And maybe we'll use, again, Comic Sans MS 48. Now let's make this really big since it's in the middle of the screen. Let's do 80. In this case, win label. I do want the position to be in the center of the screen. Also say win label alignment is equal to center. Right, this will make this position x coordinate. The label will be centered at that coordinate. So again, that's a helpful feature. See, and initially, the message or the label should be not visible. Then I'll add that to the group. I'll customize the look a little bit later. First, I'm going to make sure the code compiles and runs. And so if the win label message was visible, we know the game is over and we can quit right away. So I'm making this change here. Let's also go to this part when the starfish group size is 0. It's not win message which is visible, but the win label which has replaced it. So let's go ahead and give that a try. See how that looks. All right. Go ahead, get all those starfish. You know what? That ... reminds me, I never actually set the text of win message. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so this is win label dot set text to say you win. It's a silly mistake, but you know, making mistakes is part of the programming process. No, I'm not going to edit that out of the video for later. Cool. All right. Again, we kind of see here that it is hard to read this text a little bit, right? Because you don't have a lot of contrast between the shark, which is like a dark gray and black, and the text here. So we should probably change the colors here. Let's see, maybe we'll make the win label, maybe we'll make it green so it matches the colors of the turtle. And so let's say win label dot set font, that's not a method, font color equals color dot green. Right, and let's also add maybe instead of green, maybe we can use like a light green and then a dark green for the border. Is there a class called light? Yeah, there is. There's a constant called light green. Cool. And then we'll set the border as well. Win label dot set border. Maybe again we'll use a thickness 2 border, and we'll use color dot, sorry, dark green. There it is. JavaFX has thought of lots of stuff. Also, to make this a little bit thicker, it'd be really great to use a bold version of this font, in which case, this works for many font names. If you just append the word bold, you will get a bold version of that font. Let's try that. Let's go ahead and run this game one more time. Hopefully we'll have some nice looking text. And see how this is a little bit, let's move that up. It's a little bit thicker right there. It's a little bit easier to read. That's nice. Go collect some starfish. Little shark. All right, and that looks pretty good. You can see that border right around there. Very nice. And so that is how you add labels to a game in the Bagel framework. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.